you all today. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Amber Banks. My people are from Kentucky and Nebraska. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I grew up in Los Angeles, California, so all the quadrants of the United States represented here. And I'm the Vice President of Programs for Decolonizing Wealth Project, which was started about 5.5 years ago by Edgar Villanueva after he published his book, Decolonizing Wealth, which is a call to use money as medicine to heal from the harms of colonization and racial harm. And so the purpose of Decolonizing Wealth is to redistribute wealth to Black and Indigenous movements for healing and repair. So Decolonizing Wealth Project has a case for reparations fund that has redistributed about $10 million to the reparations movement in the last 5 years. And there is more on the way. There you go. Yes, exactly. You'll see Rich Wallace up here, which many of you know Rich, founder and executive director of E. He is not able to be here today because the city council in Chicago is attempting to steal $30 million from a community safety program, and Rich is at the city council meeting right now advocating for those $30 million to stay in place for youth programs, education programs, jobs programs, and so on for the city of Chicago. Yes, let's hear it from Rich. We are with him in spirit today, and he is feeling our love. So, yeah, oh, good. I'm so glad. I was resting last night so that I can have a voice to be able to see this. So I'm sorry I missed it, but I heard there's a video. I'm excited to see it, and I love the song. So, before we go on, I just want to give a shout out to our friends at Reparations and our panel. Can we give it up for them one more time? Yes. Love the blueprint, thank you. I don't know where they are, but great, loving that one, Liberation Ventures. Okay, so, we have a map. Over the last couple of year and a half or so, Decolonizing Wealth Project has been working on an interactive map of the reparations ecosystem. And the purpose of this map, the reason why it was created, was because in addition to funding, oh, you're so nice, Steph. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. In addition to funding, Decolonizing Wealth Project also organizes funders, thank you so much, and supports funders in their own healing journeys to be able to redistribute the vast amount of wealth that was built on the backs of Black and Indigenous people. And so, as a part of that work, many people ask Edgar and Decolonizing Wealth Project, who's doing reparations work? And where do we direct these funds as they get along in their journey? And so, Decolonizing Wealth Project really wanted to be able to study this is the ecosystem of the reparations movement, especially as it's growing. Excuse me. And the other part of it is, our grantee partners over the years have said, who else is doing this work in our region or across the country? How do I connect with other organizations that are doing similar work to me? And so there was a need for a map. So Decolonizing Wealth Project partnered with Boston University's Center for Anti-Racist Research, which is Ibram X. Kendi's shop at Boston University, to create this map. The Center for Anti-Racist Research provided some of the background research, and an organization called Graphicacy did the actual technical development of the map. The map was developed over the last year. In the spring of this year, there was a small group of movement partners, including Liberation Ventures, Nikichi, Robin, and others who provided feedback on the map. Really helpful feedback. So that informed a second iteration of the map, which was live yesterday. So the version that we're going to see today is hot off the press, literally. And the purpose of today's conversation is to really talk about how to populate this map. And the purpose from the beginning of all of this was not for there to be a funded directed map of who's doing what in the reparations movement. It was to create a resource for the movement that could be managed by the movement. Because at the end of the day, the ecosystem is the people who make up that ecosystem. And so we are very excited to announce that Decolonizing Project will be partnering with FirstRepair to house the map. So FirstRepair will actually have this map as a part of its National Resource Center. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Robin, to be able to say a few words about the map. But a couple things, I'm going to do just a second. So a couple things. Today is a preview. So this map is in beta version. It does not have everything that everyone's going to want. It's a very early version of the map that we believe is in a shareholder form to be able to get feedback. Today, we're talking specifically about how to add folks to the map. There are going to be a lot of other questions and ideas about the map, and we're in the process right now of transferring that over to FirstRepair, but FirstRepair is going to need a minute to figure out how they're going to manage the map. So it's all everything you all are being invited to the messy middle of a process. And we are really excited about that. So thank you for the grace, thank you for the understanding, thank you for your insights. But now I am going to turn it over to you, Robin, to say a few things. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for your partnership from the Decolonizing team. It means so much because, as you can imagine, we get calls and requests all the time for who's doing what in the movement, and it's a lot to keep up with. So already to have an infrastructure in place to be able to populate, informed by us, the movement, is huge for us. It is huge. It is a huge resource for us to be able to get it already with the wheels spinning and for us to just inform it. And so I'm hoping that we can get some feedback today, but look for a more detailed process in how we sustain ongoing input, because we've had various versions of a map that gets dated like very quickly. And it's expensive to create these maps. And so we're looking at a process where we can have, Victoria will eventually establish an email address specific for receiving input. It could be some other sort of electronic form. Those things we will talk through in our staff retreat in January and look to announce something soon thereafter. So thank you again, Amber, for this. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us whenever we establish this process. Is very important for grant making, but it's also important for our organizing and how we work together, how we link arms with initiatives that are right in our own communities, in our regions, and so on. And so that's also why we're looking at our work regionally, why you're broken out into your regional groups right now, because there is strength when we are united, and we're finding that there are common barriers, but also common opportunities. There's also common funders. I have found that some funders are very particular to a certain region. Some want to fund in the Midwest and others on the West Coast. So there are so many different uses and values for this map that we should pay real attention and make sure that we are contributing to it, because it is for the benefit for our individual efforts as well as our collective movement for repair.
Thank you, Robin. So excited. We're so excited about this partnership now. It's going to be amazing. So a couple other things. So right now, I'm going to pull up the map and do a little demo, which is why there's this whole situation over here. So right now, only a subset of organizations are represented on the map. So we're not going to go into all the details of all the things on the map. I'm going to give you a little high-level overview. But right now, there's just a handful of organizations, I think about 35, 40 that are on there right now. And as Robin mentioned, there's an intention to add more. The other piece that I'm going to say is that the place where we're going to go in deeper today, back up. What you won't see on here right now are task forces and commissions, and there is an intention to add that. That came back in the first round of feedback that we got, and it's great. It's a great idea, so we're going to add that in. The second thing I'm going to say is that This map is not intended to replace other maps. We know that other maps are really important. The Redistrict Network has a really great map of harms. This is meant to map organizations and really think about the movement from the perspective of the organizations themselves to build a map that ecosystem. And then the final thing I'll say today is that as we get into it, there's a function for organizations to add themselves to the map, sort of a nomination process, because we think it's really important for there to be a democratic process for people to be able to add themselves. But the question is, and this is what we're going to roll up our sleeves in a minute, like, is it everybody? Like, if you think you're doing a reparations thing, do you just automatically get to be on the map, nominate yourself on the map, or are there certain guardrails? And we want to hear about that from you. And so, and maybe the answer is everybody. And that's okay too. We can only make that assumption. So, real quick, I'm going to do a little demo here. So, you're going to want to look up at the screen. Okay. So here is the landing page. If you scroll down, it gives a little bit, I know, sorry for the font, hopefully everyone can see. It gives a couple different framing instructions here. So you'll see that first there are some bubbles, and these bubbles will be in different colors. We'll get to in a minute, but that maps where the organizations are. There are focus areas. Now these are the focus areas of the organizations. Historical atrocities, decriminalization, medical reparations, land loss, housing reparations, so the different focus areas. And an organization can have multiple focus areas. An organization can also be local, state, or national. And then the third piece is viable institutions. Now, the viable institutions, again, is from the perspective of the organization. So who is the organization holding to account? Local government, state government, federal government, the media, corporations, healthcare. So this is, again, from the perspective of a given organization and their work. Okay, bring it back up to the top. The other thing I'm going to show you over here, there's a little drop-down menu. You can see it on a map view or a table view, but I'm going to go to this organization right here. So this is what the submission form looks like currently. This, I'm assuming, will change at some point. But essentially, an organization would go in and hit their name and website, their scope and focus area, and submit. That eventually will go to FirstRepair, and then there will be a process to figure out how to populate their information in the map. So if we go back, I'm just going to pull up the map real quick. Okay, so here's the map. The little dots are organizations. You can zoom in and out. Over here on the right, or sorry, on the left, you can sort by geographic scope, focus area. I'm sorry, I forgot to talk about the strategies. These are really hard to see, but they say narrative, healing. So these are the strategies that the organization is pursuing in their reparations efforts. And then there will be a little toggle here for commissions and task forces. So when you go to a bubble, we're going to go to this one. Oh, there's Black Roots Alliance, many of you know. I'm looking for FirstRepair in here so that we can really see an example. I think it's this one right here. No, you'll have to bear with me. Okay, so Black Roots Alliance is an organization that's in Chicago, Illinois, that advocates for reparations here in Chicago, and you can see their geographic scope, their focus areas, their strategies, and the liable institution. So this is just an example. Is everyone clear on sort of the basics of the map? Yep? Okay, great. So, I'm going to zoom back out. And we're going to go to a different screen. So now, for today, hey, where's this Stephanie? How do I get to the other screen? The other, let's see. Oh, there we go. Never mind, I got it. Okay. So, We're going to set the map aside for a second, unless there are any burning questions. Pretty clear? Yes? There currently is not. It's a good question. She asked if there's contact information that's included in the map. So there's contact information on the back end, so we know who they are, but it's not currently on there, but it could be. There is a link to the website, yeah. There's a link to the website, but the actual contact information. But yeah, the website's on there. That's true. You need to. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. Burning questions, yes. Your question is about the liable institutions? Okay, yeah, great question. So the liable institutions is whatever the organization is, what institution or institutions are they seeking reparations from? So whether it's a local government, so in the case of Evanston, be the city of Evanston, right? But in the state of California, it's the state. It could be, and I think this is, another area where we'll dig into sort of the criteria, what are the institutions, a university, in the case of Robin in St. Louis, I don't know if Robin's in the room. So it's, from the perspective of the organization, who are they seeking reparations from? Does that answer your question? Okay. Other burning question? Great question. Well, she said, when is this going to be ready? That's a great question. So what we're in the process right now is in the process of the transfer of the ownership of the map to FirstRepair from Decolonizing Wealth Project. And so then FirstRepair will develop a process for its launch. So, I don't know, give them a minute, I guess. That's a bit to figure that out. Go ahead, Robin.
Now? Okay, perfect. Feedback, more general feedback on how to improve the information that is there. Like, for example, Amber mentioned us adding task force and commissions is helpful, but it will not be until maybe in the first quarter. Maybe, I hate to even give a date, but please do sign up for updates at firstrepair.org, and we will definitely keep everyone updated on that. In the meantime, we want to hear any further feedback as we're developing a process.
Yes. So the question is, have we thought about a process for, if I'm getting your question correct, for having organizations who are already on the map nominate organizations to be on the map? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, instead of a self-nomination process. Sure. Yeah. I mean, this is not very feasible. Yes. There have been no decisions about how to do this. That is a great idea that we would love to have you write down. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so the question is, could there be who's funding each organization on there so that organizations within a given region can connect its funders and each other about the resources for the movement in your area. Yeah, that's good. My guess is that just based on the iterations thus far, is that this is going to be a living ramp, right? That it will evolve. This is where we're at now. Like I said, we're in the messy middle right now. So it will, I think there's been an idea, and it will evolve as the needs of the movement evolve, as it should.
Can I add something in response to that? The question that I'm getting more in the practice is, how is the reparations fund being funded? And so I think that is very useful because we're getting that from task force. What is it? Tax dollars? Is it general funds? Is it the sale of public property and so on? So that is something that I think would be very valuable because the question comes up all the time.
That's a great point. So I see a lot of hands. So I appreciate all the questions, I really do. I'm going to do these last three real quick because then we're going to go into our groups and we're going to come back. Okay, I promise. I saw your hand first. Yeah. Yeah, you said adding arts and then run with personal and fellowship opportunities. Yeah, yeah, great. I think arts and culture is on there, but I just don't. I'll double check on that. Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. Did you have a question? No. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm wondering about being able to see the national level, like if there's like a federal project or a national narrative or.
So it's, again, from the perspective of an organization. So there is a way to isolate only organizations who identify or are identified as national. Last question.
Is there an option for individuals, because I'm working with white descendants and making connections that way, so it's not necessarily at like the government level, but more independent.
Is there an option for individuals right now? No. It's really through the lens of an organization right now, but I think it's a good question.
Well, no, so I'm an organization.
Oh, yeah.
But I work with white descendants that are called farm.
Okay.
So they're not an institution or anything.
It would be your organization.
Oh, my firm is liable.
Oh, you're liable. Oh, individuals who are liable. Great question. Yeah, what's that? Well, I don't want to say that. Let's talk to FirstRepair about that. Yeah, I think it's a great point. See, this is why we need y'all, right? Because we can think of everything. All these crazy numbers is so much better than humor. Okay. Oh, I did this before? Okay, so where is that? Okay. Hold on. We're just going to find our, okay, I'm going to talk while I'm doing this. So, what's going to happen right now, we have a couple questions for you to tackle in your tables. /read. Okay, we're ready. So, this color may not have been the best choice, you noticing, for the screen. Oops. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a couple conversations at the table. So, I would like you at your tables to please nominate one person to be the note taker. If one person who is the note taker would like to provide your table's feedback via our live slides, there's a QR code right there to be able to do that. So what's going to happen is you take a picture and it's going to take you to the website to be able to provide input on the slides. If that's too, there's also at the top you can see joinmanti.com with the code, that's the other option. If you don't do this with your phone, just write on a piece of paper. Old school is always you said old school. Okay. All I'm saying is it's your choice. I'm here for the 21st century, and I'm here for the paper. So, the most important thing is that whatever you write it down on, you are going to give it to Robin and I so that we can capture your table's feedback. That's all that matters. However you want to give us that feedback, if it's on a slide, if it's on a piece of paper, we don't care. We just need to be able to collect it so we can take it into account. Yes? Great. Okay. So, first question, we're going to take about 10 minutes at your table.
Maryland, come over here just for today. We're going to be in the Northeast, and then there's going to be discussion about paper mid-Atlantic issue. How you going, Nikki?
Is it okay if I'm just stay for right now and then we move at the break? Is that okay, Nikki? Okay, thank you. Just in the interest of time. But after that, I will have to call you. Okay. We love you, DC. We love you, DC. We always love you. Wherever you are. Okay. All right, everyone. If you can hear my voice about once. If you can hear my voice 3 times. If you can hear my voice, please pat yourselves on the back. Thank you very much. Okay. Don't ask the teacher to facilitate. Okay. So the first question that I'm going to ask you to have on your tables is what type of entities might not be eligible to be included in the map? In the map. So are there any entities that would not be included as you think about mapping the reparations ecosystem? Is the question clear? Yes.
First of all, we need to select don't make a presentation and volunteer. Look at him. Who should not be in?
Okay, y'all. My attempts to do fancy slides was not successful, so just write it on this paper. And I'm going to leave the question up there. So just paper and print. What types of entities might not be included in the map? 10 minutes.
our primary focus. It's just something that they the rest of the time they're
Everyone's doing great. I'm not, the technology's working, which is amazing. Let's take 2 more minutes, please, on this question. 2 more minutes, thank you.
just throwing out the question. Should we put organizations that started last week and they're doing it, we're going to do something that's been doing it for years. Some of them people pop up and do reparations on the map.
Finish up that last thought. Okay, come back. Welcome back. I know it's hard. That's why we've been talking about it for 18 months, because there's a lot to talk about. You can hear my voice clap once. Thank you. If you can hear my voice clap twice. If you can hear my voice clap 3 times, please. Thank you. If you can hear my voice, pat yourself on the back again, because you're working hard. Okay. So I'm going to read these off real quick because it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if it's so bad, but I'm going to read these off. Unfortunately, we are not going to talk about them in depth right now, but we will have time for a question and answer. There's just one more question we're going to tackle. But for now, we have direct service orgs, non-Black-led orgs, twice, non-Black-led focused organizations. What's the line? Many organizations use a lens of repair but aren't necessarily reparations organizations. Organizations that are objections or fundamentally opposed to the movement. International projects and organizations could be on a different map. Organizations not in agreement with security standards and recurrent CLE level security trainings. Hate groups would have a field day using the map. Southeast Representative, thank you. I attended Mary Dixon, thank you. Yeah, this was, I'm going to pause on this one real quick because we did have a lot of conversation about security and it's really important. The intention of this map is not to put anyone in harm's way, but rather to enhance our ability to connect with each other. But we realize the political climate that we're in, just so everyone knows, it is currently password protected and no one outside of Decolonizing One Project or our partners have access to it right now. So it is safe right now, and our intention is to keep it that way. So we do welcome all and any ideas around how to keep it that way. It is an important consideration in terms of how the book is populated. So thank you for that. Orgs that are not primarily centered around reparations work, again, organizations outside of the U.S. and its territories, organizations not willing to share the percentage of Black-led leadership, or with a year of work or no proven track record in their community, organizations who are publicly supporting human rights violations, those that are not by us led certified percentage of staff or Black or proven track record. All amazing points. Thank you, everybody. For those of you who have ideas written down, we'll collect them at the end. Okay, next question. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. Please. Hold on. I can't make. Okay. I can't make. It won't let me change the color. I can. No, it won't let me do anything. Sorry. But he's going to work on it while we have this conversation. So, second question. To what extent? Here you go. For some reason, these words are blank. I don't know. I'm doing my best here. But yeah, who said that? Okay, so the second question, we're going to take about 7 minutes for this in the interest of time. To what extent should this map include very large organizations that may have a few folks working on reparations? So for example, the ACLU, universities. So the organization itself might be actually a liable institution, or maybe a larger institution where a subset of that institution is working on reparations. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we still want to know where the work is happening, but in some cases, it's happening in these larger institutions that have bigger banners. So let's take 7 minutes.
I don't think it should be.
But I'm not sure if we're talking about they don't really raise they not have to pay that same money. So I'm not sure. Maybe they should be included.
I would hate to see
All right, everybody, 2 minutes. So there's so much more fun to have today. All right, everybody. Have you all done the waterfall? You remember that one? You said the words. You can hear my voice clap once. Thank you. If you can hear my voice clap twice. If you can hear my voice, please stretch your arms in the air. We've been sitting for a long time. Thank you very much. Stretch it out. Appreciate you. About you love too. Okay. We shout out to Vikas from Liberation Ventures who helped us make the words readable. So thank you. To team effort over here. Okay, so to what extent should this step include very large organizations that may have a few folks working on reparations? If a segment of an organization asks to be included, we should review the merit of their submission based on criteria, parentheses self-selection. They should be sponsors, allied, provide research and administrative support, and venues. To the extent that the community or names them, organizations that have sponsorship roles as a supporter that provide access to their space for meetings and other space usage. Could you have a gauge decided by FirstRepair that rates the size and impact of the work the organization is doing as well as the duration of the work as a variable? Colored dots. A totally separate support map. They should all be included but keep it specific. For example, not just the ACLU, but the ACLU's vision of reparations. Could the map be project-based so organizations would put only specific local projects they're working on or may show up multiple times? I think it would be a good idea for those professors or deans of African American Studies to teach a class to students. All great ideas. Thank you so much. We have a couple of minutes because I know that this brings up a lot, and so I just want to open up the floor for questions. Other considerations that maybe we didn't ask about, but folks want to share. So what other considerations come to mind? Yes? Yep. So could there be public now and a more private use of that? Yep. Because I'm not working this right. Oh, there we go.
I just want to say, like with the Trump administration, I am concerned about, I'm just concerned about the impact in small organizations or small coalitions getting raided or, their personal emails being taken. And so again, that's just worst case scenario, but I know that I show up in my volunteer capacity to do this work, and I think I have a little bit more privilege in certain spaces, but some of my comrades are frontline workers. They don't have as much privilege in their day, and I just don't want to cause harm to them.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. The security concerns are very real. And I know that Robin and the FirstRepair team take that very seriously. So, I think whatever happens with them, it will, safety will be top of mind. Yes.
With that, is there like this is outside, is there a concerted effort, because security has come up a lot over the last 5 years. Is there a concerted effort to move funds from funders to like the organizations that can't afford security? cyber and physical.
It needs to be. Yeah. Is there a concerted effort, if there is, it's not sufficient, would be my answer? I don't know, but I know that there's taking a legal school, but like cybersecurity support, I think it's a really important part. If it's all, yeah. Thank you, guys.
I want to urge serious consideration about question number 2. To all, and an example in our community is where Wofford University got $275,000 to do reparations work in Michigan at Ann Arbor. And the chair of the Board of Trustees told them they couldn't use the word reparations, and they didn't. And reparations was to free food on Saturdays. Serious consideration of how, what do they call them, legacy or traditional organizations, universities, civil liberties and such are included, because when they got that $275,000, that meant that there was nothing for grassroots organizations, in addition to the fraud that was perpetrated against the community and the difficulties in doing grassroots work that resulted from that. So I would urge significant consideration for how that's handled.
Thank you for raising that. We will make note of that. And I think that, yeah, absolutely.
One of the things we talked about in our group is having a clear kind of helping organizations to understand what it means to be on the map, right? Because some organizations might not have capacity for the inflow that may come, like if they are going to get questions or if they're going to be asked to perform work, like making it really clear to people what being on the map means, and then also delineate like what is the audience for the map, who is the map for, would help to define who gets on it and who wants to be on it, giving organizations that agency to say yes or no in terms of being on the map.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Thank you. All of the comments and questions, can you please make sure that you wrote all of them down? That will help us greatly as we compile them and bring them to FirstRepair. Last question in the middle.
I'm sorry, I'll just piggyback on the previous speaker by saying I would suggest you have multiple maps for various audiences, and the amount of information and access to adding to it would vary based on the source based on the purpose and the audience. So there may be one that is publicly available that has less detailed information, but allows anyone looking at it to see that there is a movement that is national in these regions, but not pinpointing the organizations, particularly small ones, where that information might prove dangerous to them. But also to be able to have vetted organizations have a greater amount of information so that those small organizations will be able to communicate with other organizations doing similar types of work in other places such that they can communicate with each other.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. One of the things I love about the partnership with FirstRepair is that there are lots of options for this tool to be applied in settings like this, right? Like the public-facing side of the map isn't its only use case, right? To be able to say, like, who's doing this work? How do we build those narratives about our work regionally and nationally that help us understand the ecosystem of this movement? So really appreciate everyone's thoughtful input. We are going to move to, did you want to have me look back those, or you're going to do them?
I I did want to lift up, Aziza, I heard you on security, and it keeps coming up. Any funders or folks that have influence with funders, it is insufficient resource for security, both physical security, cybersecurity, and I also want everyone to know that we have security here at the Resource Center in particular, and here, and it is expensive. So just putting that out there, because more and more of us are concerned now because of what's happening nationally. And when we get to that, talk about wellness and people care and so on, I just wanted to pause for a moment to let you know that it's on the minds of many of us. It's coming up often.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you, Aziza, for raising it. I can commit to passing this along to the Decolonizing Well Project team and sharing this in the funder circles that we facilitate, and with our development team and the funders that they talk to and other donors, to let them know that this is a need in the immediate future, so that there is funding for it. So thank you for raising that. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know if that might be going. Okay, we're coming. Thank you.
Okay, yes, I wanted to just kind of piggyback off of the security that Robin talked about. At Black History Saturdays, we arm ourselves. We do believe in having our own firearms. We pack, okay? And we do that. Yeah, security is expensive, so we learn to do it ourselves, and so we do encourage people to learn how to use your firearms and have firearms, because it is important. Also, and we had to do that because we've had a lot of threats at Black History Saturdays. We even had threats from the Daughters of the Confederacy wanting to come and protest. Yep, and I don't know if Damali is still in here, but the building where we have Black History Saturdays, EDUREC, we've had the air units taken out. We've had them steal our water meters twice the day before we have class. So these things are serious, and these are white people that we're doing it on camera. So these are the things that are happening. So don't think for a second that you're safe, especially in this fight for reparations. And specifically, if you live in a red state like we do in Tulsa, soon as our report hits, we're going to be getting attacked. We're used to it, but not everybody else is. So you have to be aware of that and know what's coming and be aware of your surroundings. So Robin, thank you for bringing that up, because that's so important.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, well, I'm over time, so I'm going to pass the mic to Bailey. But thank you all so much for appreciating it. We look forward to being in touch. Thank you.